Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. Today is Thursday, March 17th, 2022, St. Patrick's Day. And we begin with a little luck of the Irish, leading to a possible appearance tonight of a rare nighttime rainbow. Called a moonbow, this natural phenomenon occurs when the moon's bright light intermingles with drops of water. The resulting arc is both lighter and whiter than a daytime rainbow. That's because the moon reflects a smaller amount of light than the sun. The best location to spot a moonbow is on a clear night near a misty waterfall while the moon's at its brightest. And tonight is the last full moon of the winter, called the worm moon. Why that name? One explanation is that around this time of year in colder regions, earthworms emerge just as the ground begins to thaw. And speaking of the moon, a super expensive rocket intended to return humans to the lunar surface and beyond is scheduled to roll onto a Florida launch pad this afternoon. NASA's Space Launch System took 12 long years to build. Skyrocketing costs and technical issues also dog the Artemis program, which promises to deliver the first woman and person of color to the surface of the moon. First, though, NASA needs to test the engines. That'll happen on April 3rd. If all goes well, an uncrewed mission will launch as early as May. Real-life astronauts won't take it for a spin around the moon until 2024 at the earliest, and the much-hyped lunar landing, that isn't expected until at least 2025. If you want to watch today's rollout, NASA will broadcast the delivery of the rocket from its assembly building to the launch site. The 4-mile journey begins at 5 p.m. Eastern and should take between 6 and 12 hours. We've put a link on our website. It was a remarkable moment in history yesterday when the president of Ukraine delivered an emotional appeal for help to Congress and the American people. He likened the pain of his country to that felt by the U.S. after Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Most of his speech was in Ukrainian with a translator, but at the end he switched to English to speak directly to President Biden. Quote, "You are the leader of your great nation," Mr. Zelensky said. "I wish you to be the leader of the world," which means to be the leader of peace. Mr. Biden stopped well short of giving the Ukrainian president what he asked for, but did increase the amount of money the U.S. will send to help the country defend itself. Also, for the first time, President Biden used the words war criminal to describe Russia's President Putin. It was the harshest criticism from any U.S. official since the war in Ukraine began 3 weeks ago. The world's largest coffee company is brewing up a way to help the planet. Starbucks has announced plans to phase out single-use cups in the U.S. and Canada by the end of next year. Worldwide, their customers go through about 7 billion paper cups annually. Exactly how the chain plans to transition to reusable cups is still in the planning stages, especially when it comes to serving drive-through and mobile customers. Ideas range from charging customers a refundable deposit per cup to setting up mug cleaning stations inside stores. The lofty environmental goal coincides with the announcement that the current CEO of Starbucks will step down, and the original and visionary CEO, Howard Schultz, will temporarily retake the helm. In other KidNuz notes, your pet pooch may be top dog in your household, but how would your best friend rank in a popularity contest? The American Kennel Club just released its latest rankings of the most popular dog breeds in the U.S. For the 31st year in a row, Labs lead the pack at number 1, followed by French Bulldogs, Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds, and Poodles to round out the top 5. And if you're wondering about where Doodles rank, the AKC says these types of hybrids aren't consistent enough yet to qualify as a breed. And finally, proof you're never too old for a growth spurt. One of France's iconic landmarks just got 20 feet taller. Workers have installed a new digital radio antenna to the top of the Eiffel Tower, bringing its new height to 1,083 feet. The Iron Monument was constructed back in 1889, and while it long ago lost its claim as the world's tallest structure, it still remains one of the most visited tourist attractions on the planet. That's it for KidNuz. Now, today's KidNuz quiz. What is a nighttime moon-fueled rainbow called? A moonbow. How did President Biden refer to Russian President Putin yesterday? as a war criminal. When does Starbucks plan to phase out single-use cups in the U.S. and Canada? By the end of next year. The Eiffel Tower in France just grew by how much? "20 feet. In our KidNuz Kicker, a New Zealand couple's dream of growing the world's largest potato has basically been fried. Colin Craig Brown and his wife Donna thought they had the Guinness World Record in the bag after accidentally unearthing a 17-pound spud in their garden last August. But after sending in photos, paperwork, and even DNA from the tater they nicknamed Doug, they learned that he's not a potato after all, but a type of gourd. Disappointed but not discouraged, the couple plans to use their newfound knowledge to do it right next time. Meanwhile, Doug remains unsalted by the record rejection. He's still a town celebrity and lives on in the freezer, where he gets regular visits from the couple's grandkids. Before we go, a big KidNuz shout out for our terrific teachers and their students. Ms. Ravalkaba's Tigers at Valley Elementary in Poway, California. Mr. Jacqueline at St. Hubert Catholic School in Chanhassen, Minnesota. Miss Clark at Edmiston Central School in Edmiston, New York. To Texas for Mrs. James at Griffiths Elementary in Caddo Mills. And Ms. Reed students at Duff Elementary School in Arlington. Thanks for listening. Please rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And we'll see you back here for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.